Welcome to Fraser Downs Live. Hi, everybody. I'm Norm Board, keeping you up with what's going on at Fraser, and we kick things off, as we do every week, with the highlight reel. A beautiful sunny Easter Sunday at the Downs, and the Easter Bunny was good to long shot players, especially those who backed 22 to 1 shot Beach Boy Toy in the 8th. Dan Jukic picks up the call.
It is Dealer's Edge. Up on the outside. Here comes Beach Boy Toy. Picking up the cover now is Rock All-Star, Western Olympian. 3/4, 124 and 2. As they get set to wheel for home, it is Beach Boy Toy with the lead. Rock All-Stars on the outside. Dealer's Edge on the inside. Deep stretch now. Beach Boy Toy by 2. Rock All-Star. Beach Boy Toy will score.
Beach Boy Toy dropped a 46-40 win ticket on his backers en route to his 19th career victory. The win, an easy 3-length victory, was in 153-1 for the 8-year-old gelding and jacked his career earnings to over $301,000. It's time now for Capper's Corner with track announcer handicapper Dan Jukic. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks very much, Norm.
We're going to start with, before we get to the actual handicapping, we're going to talk about a new promotion going on at Fraser Downs. And the thing I like about it is that it's racing-centered, because let's face it, while Fraser Downs is an overall gaming and entertainment destination, racing is a big part of the core of things. And tell us about this Horse of the Month promotion that you're working on.
Well, we certainly like to get the fans involved, and for the previous month, currently we are in April, but we're looking for the Horse of the Month for March. We come up with 4 excellent choices. Then we leave it up to the fans to vote, and whoever gets the most votes, we bring them back to the winner's enclosure. They get a commemorative blanket that says they were the Horse of the Month.
Nice.
And actually the fan, too, gets a chance to win a home stretch buffet for 2. So it's a kind of an interactive thing where we want to get the fans involved, let them pick the horse. It's not about us or the panel selecting the winner. It's about getting 4 candidates.
Well, I think that's exciting because, again, it's interactive. It engages the fans. Who are some of the finalists that they'll be voting on?
Well, for the month of March, we've got On the Way Home out of the Kevin Anderson barn. 2 wins, 2 seconds, last 6 starts. Just a fantastic horse that's really on a roll right now, and we're going to see this a lot in our handicapping over the next little while. This horse was in the 6,000 claiming condition bracket, but now has dropped right into the $3,000 open bracket and has been very, very competitive. It seems like a sideways move, but this horse just keeps rolling down the stretch every time. You got Mr. Mozart in the $6,000 claiming bracket. He's won twice for 6 and once for 9. Sterling Cooper out of the Dave Hudon barn. When he's on, Sterling Cooper can go down there in 153. There's no doubt. But the interesting one, of course, is Double L Cammy out of the Grant Hollingsworth barn. Was able to secure this as a private purchase and has taken this horse from the $3,000 claiming bracket up now, well, on Friday night, she's in Nowhere's a 6 or 35,000 lifetime. She's reeled off 4 in a row.
And that is an interesting class as well. It's a very competitive class, very talented class, and it's nice to see that, you know, somebody's favorite horse doesn't necessarily have to be an open pacer or as the case may be, but, you know, just an honest horse that goes out there every day, knows its business, and gives you an honest race.
Well, I think that's the key, too, is to acknowledge some of the horses who may not be of stake or, added money caliber, but they certainly are grinders, and, they deserve their dues, too.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing the results of that. Right now, we've got a chance to predict the results of a couple of interesting dashes coming up on the weekend. Starting on Friday, 4th race, Fillies and Mares Open. Now, taking a look at this, I picked off the first 4 horses from the rail out, Just Fiction, Phone Terror, Mock Maiden Heaven, and Riverlass. How does that sit with you?
Well, Mock Maiden Heaven, I guess, is in with a shot, but she may not be in this category yet. But as you mentioned, Riverlass, Phone Terror, Just Fiction, Prairie Illusion out of the Keith Clark barn has done extremely well since arriving here. And the other one, of course, you can never leave out the 8-year-old, Jan's Rich Girl. She'll break off the gate in post 6. Never really a factor last week, but how can you not like a horse that's 7 for 9 this year and already made $21,000?
Yeah, and those kind of horses, especially with her back class, are not going to forget that. I mean, this is an individual that last year made 76,000, as you said, so it's not really a fluke. Obviously. So, yeah, you got Scott Knight in the bike. It's going to be a pretty good combo there. I guess Mock Made in Heaven, from my standpoint, would be something that might be a good fit at the bottom of, say, a Try or a Super, maybe some exotics, Phil. But you're right, the Just Fictions, the Phone Terrors, Riverlass. Now, there's a question mark for me. Have you heard anything on Riverlass? Scratch sick?
I really haven't, other than she was scratched sick last week, but a 14-time winner in 2012.
Yeah.
2 times already this season, and she has won the Fillies and Mares Open, so I guess if she's ready to go out of the Kelly Hort barn, Tim Brown, I'm sure, can find the winner's enclosure. He's been there many times.
Well, the thing is, out of all the mares on this page, she has the fastest lifetime mark to date, other than Village Janice. But, last year alone over at Alberta Downs, 152, flat.
Yeah, certainly she was on a fast strip that day. She's already made $337,000 in her career. She's only a 6-year-old.
Let's talk about the big one on Sunday, the Open Pace. There were all geldings and horses going in for this. A lot of back class. Rock All-Star is going to be there. The winner of the 20,000 claiming the week before, which is almost a saw-off, wouldn't you say, with the open class? Beach Boy Toy, who won handily that day, is got the 3-hole due to the entry of the 1 and 1A. How do you assess Beach Boy Toy's chances?
Well, he certainly raced a monster mile last week. Went down there in 153 and 1, upset them all at over 22 to 1 that day. It was a fantastic mile for this guy, this 8-year-old son of Art Escape. He's made over 300,000 in his career, 19-time winner. It's just taken him a while to get around. He's been in the $15,000 bracket. Numbers at 35.01. He's just trying to find out where he goes. He got a great trip from the 9-hole. He's going to get another good trip off the wings from the 3-hole. Can he repeat that? That's going to be my question.
Yeah, and then my question is going to be then, can he do it against the elite class? I understand that there's not much of a degree of separation, but it's an open class for a reason, so that remains a question.
Well, the $20,000 bracket, Norm, just kind of brought a couple of other horses into the race, and the 20,000 claimers actually got to draw preferential to the Open, and if I remember correctly last week, the only one that was in on the Open part was the 6 cash account, who really was never a factor last week. But he was coming off a layoff, and he'd been away since the middle of December.
Yeah, and here's a horse that knows how to win, a 10-year-old DM Dillinger, $276,000 plus in the bank account, 6 wins last year. Most handicappers like that third start in the form cycle, but when you got this much class, here's an individual that may not quite take as long.
Well, I just like to have seen a little bit more last week. I know we did come out of the 8 post, but I guess the positive part is he came home quite smartly in 28 and 4. So, though he did finish last in the field of 9.
Let's talk about Rock All-Star, because this is a gelding that can not only beat you from anywhere off the gate, but he's got the cred of having been a repeat Open winner. I would say with Jim Marino, one of the hottest drivers you've got at the Downs, this is going to be one to beat.
Well, interesting that owner-trainer Bill Young put him in for the 20,000 last week and actually got a good spot off the gate in the 4 post. He's actually drawn the 8 in this Open event, so Jim's going to have to work a little overtime here to try and get a good spot in the early going.
Great pedigree on this one, a rock and roll Hanover, may he rest in peace, out of a life sign. So very well related is Rock All-Star. It's going to be an exciting weekend at the Downs, lots of stuff going on, and lots of great racing called by the distinguished Mr. Dan Jukic. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thank you, Norm.
Time now for Backstretch Buzz, and joining us is one of Fraser's leading drivers, Dave Hudon. Dave, welcome to Fraser Downs Live.
Thank you. Thank you.
You continue to be in the top 5 categories of driving and training at Fraser. As a driver, you consistently drive between 500 to 600 mounts a year. And I guess what I'm wondering about, and I'm sure the listeners wondered about it too, the driving, the training, the 5 a.m.s, how do you manage to keep up the energy?
Well, it's just, I don't start at 5 o'clock. I usually start around 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a secret.
Yeah, I guess that's a secret. But you know what? It doesn't see. It seems like you find energy when you're doing something that you love, right?
You said it, Dan, and I can relate on a smaller level. I helped one of the fellows in the backstretch out. I helped train some of his horses, and you can be dog tired, but when you get to the barn, you get to the shed row, whether it's the smell of the liniment and the sweet feed or whatever it is, it just reinvigorates you. So yeah, I can see what you're saying.
And there's always, there's always thrills too, when you get get a decent horse or you win a couple the night before or something. I mean, it's pretty well that's what it's about. It's about winning, right?
That's right, and it's about the game we love. Part of this segment is going to be focusing on perhaps educating the fans on things they may not be aware of. And one of the big ones these days that perhaps a lot of people aren't aware of is the physical conditioning of the driver. A lot of folks think that things like weight and core strength apply only to thoroughbred jockeys, but nothing could be further from the truth. Isn't that right?
Oh, that for sure. That's right. I mean, there's probably, and maybe even including myself. I mean, there's probably some drivers that are out of shape and a little overweight, but I mean, still goes down to the bottom line is how good your horse is, anyways, right?
Well, that's true, but you know what? As you touched on, you don't have to be in peak physical condition, but you really do have to, have some good core strength, because if you've got a good horse between the shafts, but maybe likes to run a little hot, you've got to be able to try and bring them in, and you can't just stay slow down horsey.
Yeah, no, exactly. You got to have some upper body strength, and you got to have a good head on your shoulders also.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Make the right moves at the right time, and
Yeah. Somebody said to me, a driver that I know said to me, it's kind of like driving on the freeway. Everybody's within 2 feet of each other at 120 kilometers, no signal lights, no brake lights.
Yeah, there's been some nights like that. There's been some nights, and I use the term some nights, I said they got a better roadblock up the backstretch than 176 has got.
Dave, you've been at this a long time. You've seen the difference in driving styles between, say, your generation and the up-and-comers. The turn and burn versus guys like you that are more apt to rate a horse. Which style do you think will outlive the other? I tend to think guys like you will.
Yeah, I think so. The only thing I don't like about the young guys that are learning, they've watched the Meadowlands, they've watched Toronto, and they're lying down. I mean, it's hard to, it's hard to follow some of them guys sometimes,
Well, you make a good point, and I remember I was talking to Hall of Famer Michel Lachance, who he calls it looking up at the sky. He just
up at the sky, yeah.
Talking to the sky, I think what he said. Yeah, a lot of guys will argue that they do that for auto. What's the word I'm looking for? Wind streaming.
Aerodynamics.
Yeah. I think one guy started it. I think Mark McDonald really got the craze kicked off, and I think every young kid thinks, well, that's not what I got to do.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I don't think they got a shot. If there was a horse that made a bad step or fell down in front of them, I don't think they got a shot. At least if you're sitting up and you know where you're going, you probably got a better shot of getting out of trouble. I mean, and unless we hope that none of that happens, but.
No, but you know what? They're loose lining them when they're coming home, and the horse is tired. And you're right, that misstep could occur, and the horse will go flying, and the horse will hit the ground, and the driver, because the sulky does act as a bit of a catapult, will send them flying. So no, you're right.
Yeah.
The old ways are sometimes best. Now, this weekend at Fraser, you've got 5 or 6 drives, I think, on the Friday, another 6 or 7 on Sunday. I'm sure the fans want to know which of the horses you're driving gives Dave Hudon the best shot at having his picture taken in the winner's circle.
Well, I got an old classy veteran in tomorrow night, and his name is Très Bien, and he was boxed in, trapped, nowhere to go last week. So if he gets a good drive, I should be standing in the winner's circle.
Très Bien in which race?
I think he's in the later 7th or 8th race.
So look for Très Bien.
Yeah.
Okay, très bien, monsieur. Thank you very much. Dave Hudon, always a pleasure having you on.
Okay, Norm.
And all the best on your weekend's action at Fraser.
Okay, thanks a lot.
And that'll do it for this edition of Fraser Downs Live, a presentation of Fraser Downs in cooperation with HRBC and Borg Communications.